Today, we're gonna find out the truth.
Why would she have Sylvanie interrupt them? Like, she's foreshadowing something bigger, and I don't think screaming means you want. Bragging about Sophie, like bragging. Second, she's cringing when other people are finding out. Like, she doesn't think that they're perfect for each other. She literally says her face is burning, her skin is burning. Like, Fitz is yelling at her to a point that she is losing confidence in herself. This is even bigger than the Sophie and Dex thing, like falling apart. Like, this is literally them, like, never going to speak to each other again. Hello guys, my name is Troy. Welcome back to the KotLC fanbase, and today it is finally time to address the KotLC ship war, which is Sokeefe versus Sophitz. Today I'm going to dive deep into Sophitz, Sokeefe, and uncover the secrets that you guys have been waiting to hear. This year I took my Honors 1 English class, and in that class I just learned to look at the text a little bit more closer, and I've just noticed a lot more in the series that I've picked up as I've been reading these books. And so today I'm going to dive deep through the last two books in the series, the most two recent, because if I start talking about like the first few books, like that's not relevant to the ship war now. Like, I picked through these books last night, flagging different scenes and writing out notes. Like, I spent a while preparing this because I'm going to look at through this like at an objective view. I'm going to be looking at this like as a professional young adult literature professional. So yeah, today I'm going to just be giving my best theory on what Shannon is going to come out at the end, like who is going to win, Sophitz or Sokeefe. I'm just saying I've picked up so many little things rereading these books and looking at some of these scenes, and I want to share all that with you today. But before we do quickly start, I just want to thank everyone who showed up to the live stream yesterday. It was so amazing. The best live stream we've ever had, guys. I mean, you guys' super chats were so nice to support us. Like, I really am trying to get a new camera, and this is really helping us, and I don't know what I would do without you guys. So thank you so much for all the live streams, all the super chats, and all that fun stuff. We just had a really great time talking to you guys yesterday. But yeah, let's just go straight into this video. Leave a like if you're excited to hear all my thoughts about the ship war, and also guys, if you could share this video with anyone that you know that reads KotLC, because these thoughts are very important and need to be shared, because this is like the monumental video for the ship war. So let's just go into our first scene. This scene that I'm going to talk about first, which is one of the most important scenes of this video, is of the scene where Sophie and Fitz are about to kiss when Sylvanie interrupts. So let me just read it to you. I'll pop up a picture on screen and then we'll talk about it. I also want to really quickly add, like, please don't dislike or unsubscribe from our channel just because of something that I say. Like, this is just my thoughts, and like, I'm not trying to cause any harm. Like, you guys are free to ship whoever you want. This is just my thoughts. I have a new goal, Fitz said quietly, interrupting her downward mental spiral. I'm going to get you to trust me. Her eyes met his. I do trust you. And trust this. He reached up and cupped her cheek, and her triumphant heartbeat drowned out everything as her brain screamed, "He's going to kiss me!" But right before their lips met, she realized hers wasn't the only voice shouting in her head, and she stumbled back as pure terror stabbed her into her brain, along with the transmission that made everything inside her freeze solid. Sylvanie begging, "Sophie, help, pain." So let's talk about this scene, and the first obvious thing that I want to say is, if Shannon wanted a Sophitz kiss to happen, why would she have Sylvanie interrupt them? So like, my first point is, if Shannon was favoring Sophitz in this book, why would she interrupt that very monumental conversation? So I think for me, that's just detail that's like showing me like she's foreshadowing something bigger, that like Sophie and Fitz aren't meant to be because she's interrupting them. I think that's just kind of an obvious thing about this, but then I'll also have two more points for this scene. One, Sophie's mind was screaming. So like, if you were about to kiss someone, and if you were about to like, yeah, kiss someone, if you were about to kiss someone, would you want the other person to have their mind screaming? No, probably not. And I think that's another like kind of trigger for me. That's like, Sophie doesn't want Fitz as like to be her boyfriend, like, because it's just not right for her. Like, her mind is screaming. Like, in a kiss, the two people should be like natural, like they should be like they both want it. And I don't think screaming means you want. I don't know, that's just, to me, screaming never accomplishes anything, and it doesn't mean you want something. So that's another point. And then the line, "I have a new goal. I'm going to get you to trust me." Fitz says that. Fitz is declaring to Sophie that he knows she doesn't trust him because of all the times in the past Fitz has abused her and yelled at her and blamed her, and their relationship was so toxic. So, you know, Fitz needs to get Sophie to trust her because, you know, he's just of his actions in the past. And so there's another kind of detail that like Fitz and Sophie are just not meant to be. He's not the perfect match. Okay, now let's read out the next scene, which is on page 675 of Flashback, when Keefe approaches Sophie about what happens, or like what happened, because Fitz filled Keefe in on all the stuff with Sophitz happening, and now Keefe is gonna confront Sophie about it. So, I stopped by Everglen this morning. Figured it was time to be a good best friend and see how Fitzy was holding up, you know? And he filled me in on everything. Oh, really? Sophie asked, internally cringing at those little pauses probably meant. The one thing that she and Fitz had forgotten to discuss was how much they were going to tell anyone about. Whatever it was that was going on with them, not that it mattered with Keefe. First, we have Fitz, like, kind of bragging about Sophie, like, bragging that he's with Sophie to Keefe. I feel like you should never, like, brag about dating someone, like, that's just not right. Second, she's cringing when other people are finding out. Obviously, like, the puzzle pieces aren't matching up. Like, Sophie is not wanting them to be publicly, like, together, and so it's just like, if you don't want someone to know about you, like, why would you even be with them? Because eventually you're gonna have to tell them. I don't know, that was another note that I put for this scene. Okay, now I've just got a quick few more things about Flashback. Let's read this scene. Hey Foster, he said, stepping in front of her to block the path. I'm really sorry about earlier. I never should have said the stuff I said. What I meant to say is, I'm really happy for you and Fitz. You guys are perfect for each other. Sophie's face burned, so did her eyes, and she couldn't decide if the tangled emotions clawing up her throat was proof that she definitely wasn't ready for things with Fitz to be public, or because she still couldn't imagine people using the word perfect to describe the two of them together. So Sophie is literally saying right out of her mouth, or in her head, that, like, she doesn't think that they're perfect for each other. She literally says she still couldn't imagine people using the word perfect to describe the two of them together. And also, her face is burning, her skin is burning. Like, if someone's congratulating you on having, like, you know, a relationship, I don't know, like, that's just a really odd reaction to me, like, to have your face burning and your skin burning and all that. Okay, now let's look at another scene, or another little scene. We have Fitz saying, like, no, Fitz snapped, if you're still deluded yourself into thinking he's on our side, you might as well hang back right here, because you're going to turn this into a bigger mess than he already is. And then Sophie says, she closed her eyes for a beat, which wasn't a smart thing to do when running, but she could barely see through the darkness anyway. And when it made it to whisper to him, I'm sorry, Fitz. So, like, Fitz is yelling at her to a point that she is losing confidence in herself. Like, okay, I think I wrote this note. He's literally abusing her to a point where she doesn't feel safe. She yells at her so much. This is just, like, decreasing her self-confidence, because now she feels like she can't talk to him. She's literally, like, whispering, like, I'm sorry, Fitz. Like, that's just not a really great way to treat your girlfriend, and that's another reason why I don't think Shannon is favoring this Sophitz thing. Okay, so now let's dive into my thoughts on Legacy, or not thoughts on Legacy, but shipping in Legacy. And now I've got less sticky notes for this one because Flashback was the major shipping book, and this was more focused on the plot, but this still has some good stuff in here for Sokeefe, and also the cover is the love triangle, and I got notes on other stuff too. Okay, anyways, what I want to first point out is this scene. Not that Keefe needed improvement. All elves were jaw-droppingly gorgeous, but there's something particularly handsome about Keefe Sencen, and the boy was well aware of it. So Sophie in this scene is literally complimenting and calling Keefe specifically out, and because Fitz and Sophie were, like, kind of still in a relationship at this point in the book, you don't really do that. You don't really call other guys, like, jaw-droppingly handsome if you are in a relationship with another guy. So it's like, there's that. Okay, now here's another cute Sokeefe scene. I just want to share this scene with you guys again. So when this goes down, I'll be right here with you, and I'm not gonna let you lose you. Trust the telepath. My other abilities may let you down sometimes, but this one always comes through. They locked eyes across the room, and Sophie's heart ached when he let his walls come down, showing her all the fear and fury and doubt and worry and hate he was feeling in that moment because of what was about to happen. Trust the telepath, she repeated. I do, and she could feel how strongly he meant those words. I'm really glad I met you, Sophie. Me too, she told him, hoping he could feel how much she meant it too. Isn't that the cutest Sokeefe scene? Like, they're both basically saying they're really glad they met each other, and it just feels so natural. Like, with Sophitz, it always feels so tight, and she's screaming. Her mind isn't screaming when he says that. Like, it just flows so well, and it's, like, perfect. But now, this was the scene where Fitz and Sophie broke up, which had a lot of good stuff, but had a lot of good content in it. So, I'm just gonna read this out to you guys. I miss you too, Fitz. You have no idea. And I'll do anything for us to be friends again. But just friends. For now, at least. There's just too much going on. And if it was so much harder than I thought it would be, and I don't know if it means I'm not ready, or I just know I can't handle a boyfriend right now. But I'd really love my friend back. Can we do that? Fitz closed the distance between them, grabbing her hand and giving it a soft squeeze. A friendly squeeze. Yeah, we can do that. Sophie squeezed his hand back. Thank you. They stood like that for a few seconds, and the really amazing thing, it wasn't awkward. Then they have a little conversation, and I'll be here, probably throwing paddles at his head, but hey, might wake him up. Sophie laughed, loving how easily they were already starting to joke with each other again. Thank you, Sophie told him. Fitz flashed one of his perfect smiles. Anytime, Sophie. Anytime. And this is pretty much like almost the last thing that I want to talk about, because like this is like the scene that really ends Sophitz. Like I don't know how you could have hope after this. This is literally the friend zone. Like you know how Dex and Sophie went out? This is literally how Sophie and Fitz are going out. Like this is even bigger than the Sophie and Dex thing, like falling apart. Like this is literally them like never going to speak to each other again. So I'm gonna go through my notes. Okay, Sophie made it clear in this scene that Fitz were to be her friend and her friend only. Like she made it clear to him, like, we are not going to be anything more than friends right now. And then she says, friendly squeeze. So giving it a soft squeeze, a friendly squeeze. Again, she's friend zoning him. She wants to be a friend. And I feel like this is just the end of Sophitz. Like they're about going to be friends now. And I feel like she thinks like they're so much better as friends as well. And I feel it too. Like their relationship just feels so much easier as friends. And like even she says it right here. Sophie laughed, loving how easily they were already starting to joke with each other again. Like she loves it. It just feels so much more natural than being friends. And I honestly it feels just so much better for them to be friends. So yeah, I think that's all of the stuff I wanted to say. Let me cover two more things and then we'll end this video. Okay, two more quick things about Keefe's short stories, because this is in favor of Keefe. So first point is for the short story in Nightfall, it's really mainly for him to say that he likes Sophie, and he's saying like he's really hoping for him and Sophie to be together at some point. And it's just there's such strong hope in that short story. And like my thing would be, why would Shannon instill so much hope in Keefe and even include like the majority of that short story being to like that he likes Sophie if she didn't want Sokeefe to happen? Like why would she even have a love triangle if she didn't want Sokeefe to happen? Like I don't know, that's just my thing. And then another thing is when in the short story edition of the Flashback paperback, the paperback version of Flashback had a short story with Keefe, and it's basically Alvar coming over there and telling Keefe to back off of Sophie and let Fitz have her, and saying that Alden didn't hit the choice wife that he wanted to have either. And so this scene had so much to spare, and it just had like, there was this like really negative tone, and I feel like Shannon even had trouble writing it. And I think this is just foreshadowing like in the future how Shannon just does not like, you know, the whole Vacker family like kind of being so forceful upon Sophie. And so I think that's another reason why I think Sokeefe is gonna win in the end. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed me kind of talking through all of the points about Sokeefe and Sophitz. Like I had a great time looking through these books and analyzing all these scenes, because from what I see, guys, Sokeefe is going to end up, like from my non-biased opinion, Sophitz just doesn't seem to have much hope. And ever since that breakup in Legacy, I feel like Sophitz is done permanently. Like Sophie made it clear that she loves him so much more as a friend than a boyfriend, and I think that only leaves room for Sokeefe. So I'm excited to see how this goes. I'm really looking forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. And again, I don't mean to put any hate. This is just me looking at it at a non-biased perspective, and I hope you guys kind of enjoyed that. Like not me being opinionated, but me pulling out stuff from the text. Like that's, I think I really appreciate myself for doing that, and I hope you guys appreciate that as well. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel down below. And also guys, hit the notification bell and make sure it's set to all. So if like your bell has white, if like your notification bell is white, that means you only have like half of our notifications turned on. Make sure you click that and turn it to all so you get all of our notifications. And then also after you do that, make sure to go into your device settings and make sure that you have device notifications turned on for YouTube, because guys, there's like 200 of you guys that have the notification bell turned on. They're not getting our notifications. So make sure you go into your settings and make sure you have YouTube notifications enabled. And comment down below again, what are your thoughts on the video? Like who do you ship? Pull out some like different scenes for me to look at, or just anything you want to talk about ship related. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments or in this video. I'd love to hear any of your thoughts. Make sure to share this video with your KotLC friends. If you have any like KotLC group chats or KotLC discords, just share it around. And if you want to see the last video, make sure to check that out. It was Austin's trivia. Like it was about Austin taking KotLC trivia. A lot of you guys saw that, but if you did not see it already, make sure you go check it out because it was a really funny video seeing Austin taking KotLC trivia because he hasn't read the series in a hot sec, but he is actually reading it right now. But yeah, I think that's all I had to say, guys. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are totally amazing. I love you guys so much. You guys are the freaking best, and I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on the video. But yeah, love you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Love you. Stay safe, stay healthy.